Yo, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jerome, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So this past weekend, I got the opportunity to go to Nats for the first time, and I was super excited. I had a blast. I absolutely loved it. I didn't make day two. That's because I got super tired. I mean, the tournament took forever. So, obviously with some good things, there's going to be some bad things. So I wanted to just first start off with, I had a blast. I think, the staffing, everything did an amazing job. Judges were cool and everything like that. But, the negatives, there was a lot of negative things, but the thing is that they don't outweigh the good stuff that happened. So a few things that were kind of bad with how it went, and a lot of people experienced this, not just me, is basically the registering part. Registering online was so confusing. A lot of people said that they were clicking on to the website to register for it, and it'll just send them right back to the Konami page, and it will talk about like the Dragon Duel and stuff like that, and then they'll click on the link and it'll take them right back to the same page they just left. That basically takes them right back to the Konami page. The same thing happened to me. It was very frustrating, but after some time I figured it out. You just had to click on the details, it'll send you to the Dragon page, but if you don't, you just exit out of that page and you just go back to the page you just left. The details would change to register for some weird reason. So that was how I figured it out, and I had a friend say that he just gave up on it. He just showed up a day prior to register in person. So yeah. The other big thing was basically if you did register online and you were showing up the day of the event, which was on Saturday, like how I did, apparently you were supposed to send an email to tell them that you were showing up on that day and not the day earlier. So not Friday, but show up on Saturday. So then you don't get a round one loss. I didn't know that you were supposed to send an email. So I showed up on the day of the event, which was Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning. I get down there and check in. There was nobody else in the line whatsoever. It was dead empty for check-ins. Walk right up, gave them my ID, and I was like, I'm here to check in. And they were like, okay, cool. Did you send us an email? And I'm like, an email about what? And they were like, well, to tell us that you're showing up today. And I was like, no. No, it didn't tell me to. And they were like, oh, it did. And I'm like, where? And they said, in the FAQ. I'm like sitting there and I'm like, what? So I turn around and I look, and there's no one behind me or anything like that. And I'm like, I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, you guys are not busy, so why am I getting a round one loss for showing up on the day that it told me to show up on their website, saying to show up to register and to check in at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday? So I don't know why I got a round one loss. Maybe they do that because they were expecting thousands of people or hundreds of people to show up, and they just didn't want to do all that much work on the day of. So they're probably like, hey, you know what? If you show up on this day at this, and you didn't send us an email, you're gonna get a round one loss. So the thing is that he said it was in FAQs. Why something as important as that is in the FAQ section, I don't know. They should have put that at the very top where you register, saying, hey, check-ins are at this day, but if you show up on the day of, send us an email. Why do I have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, click on FAQs, and then scroll through all the FAQs to find the part where it says make sure you email on the day that you're showing up on the day of the event or whatever? That was stupid. There was actually a lot of people that had the same problems with that didn't have any idea with that. My first opponent in round two, because obviously I couldn't play round one, so in round two my first opponent had the same issue, and honestly if I was him I would have been even more mad, because he had to spend, I believe it was $600 for a flight to come all the way over here, and I think he was from Seattle is what he said. So that needs some addressing. Needs some work on that in the future, so then they don't have a lot of issues with that, because that is going to be something that's going to continue to happen if they don't upgrade that whatsoever. What was the next issue? Was the time. So I was expecting for an event like this that there was going to be these big score things up, kind of like at a basketball game or football game, whatever. They'll have all the time right in the middle of the room, huge as hell, or on the side of the walls or whatever, that it's clear as day saying, hey, This is how much time you guys have, and you can't miss it. No, and an event like this, what they chose to do was plaster TVs everywhere, which is cool. But they put TVs that you would use for like your bedroom. So like these very like the TVs are probably like, I don't know, somewhere like this big basically, and they're scattered throughout the room. The problem is that this room is huge as shit. Like it is a big, massive ass room, and if you're sitting in the middle, you can't see. You really can't see the time on the screen. I mean, I could, but like some people couldn't. And that's a far distance. Yu-Gi-Oh players, we can't read for shit. So for that to be that far away and to be scattered throughout the place was a little goofy, I would say. There was a good number of times that I couldn't even see the like any of the TVs because for one, I had this massive pillar, so I couldn't see anything to the left of me really, um, and I think there was like one TV that I could see like kind of to the right, but they had it turned sideways, like it was kind of like this, so it was like facing that direction. So I don't know. It was kind of weird. I had to like lean over to kind of see it, and I was like, okay. But then the next issue was that there's hundreds, I mean thousands of people also walking, and they put them next to the wall. So that means that there's people walking in between the TV screens, so you can't really see the screen as much. So that was another issue I had with that. Another big issue was just how long the tournament was taking, and this is why I just dropped out of the tournament. Was because I believe that I definitely could have made day two for sure. I got burned out. I didn't want to play anymore. By the time we got to the fourth round, I was burnt. I just didn't even care about playing anymore. I was like, this is going on far too long. I'm getting hungry. I'm getting tired. I don't think I can do another 5 more rounds of this. And it was funny because my opponent during round 4 said the same thing. He was like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna drop or whatever. So I was like, I'm kind of feeling it. So by the time we got to round 6, I already made that thought process in my head that I'm just gonna drop after the next round, and that's what I did. I was over it. So the rounds are 45 minutes, obviously, like that's everywhere. But the issue is that basically, they have the feature match going on, and that starts, after the round starts. So we have to compensate for their time, and on top of that, there's so many people. I'm pretty sure the judges that were working the computers or whatever, trying to put all the names in, the wins and losses, stuff like that. It's a lot to take care of. But the thing is, like, you have the 45-minute rounds, and then after that rounds, in between the rounds, was basically almost damn near another 45 minutes. It was like 30 minutes roughly to like 45 in between there, of between every round. So I believe it was after the 5th round, we started at 10 a.m. and after the 5th round, I believe it was somewhere around, we were already about like 6 or 7 hours in or something like that. It was ridiculous. By the time that I dropped, it was during round 7, and it was 8 p.m. in the afternoon. So I started at 10 a.m. and the 7th round was at 8 o'clock in the afternoon or evening. That's fucking crazy. So I was like, that's ridiculous. And I understand why they didn't want to do lunch break. They didn't need to do a lunch break. After every round was a lunch break, so it was pretty wild. I do think that maybe something can happen there. Maybe they can fix the time. I don't know. Maybe make the feature match start at the same time that we start our rounds. But I understand that if they even do that, there would still be some time delay. I don't know what they could do to possibly fix that. Maybe not have feature matches until like day 2. Maybe only do feature matches on day 2 and above to maybe compensate for the first day, considering that during the first day it's basically when all the thousands of players are going to be playing, because they typically don't start dropping until like round 3 or 4, and then you really don't even see that big of a difference until like round 5 or 6, and that's when it's like, okay, the room is getting pretty empty. But yeah, that's probably the one of the main things, was that it was just taking far too long. And honestly, I don't know how these pros or these top players do it. I don't know how they can keep going to these events like multiple times throughout a month and play like that for one day, turn around the next day and play like that again, and then turn around the next week and do it all over again, or like 2 weeks later or a month later and do it all over. Like, I don't know if they're on some Adderall or something, but holy shit, I need whatever they need or whatever they're taking. Like, cause good God, man, it was insane. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe they're younger than me and they're just getting through this a lot, with ease. Because when I was younger, man, I mean, I can stay up for like 2 days straight and I was fine. Now I can barely stay up for 12 hours without having to take like a good 2 hour long nap or something. So maybe I'm just getting older. But I will make sure for the next time I go and play, I'll have a line of Coke and some Adderall. Just kidding, guys. Don't do drugs, anyways. But I will be prepared better. I will have like a lot of caffeine and maybe some energy food and stuff like that. I don't know. I'll just be better prepared for the next time, which hopefully would be like a YCS or something. Because I haven't been to YCS yet. I missed out on the last one because I didn't care for the format. I still don't care for the format. But with the new stuff coming out, I think the game is going to be a lot different and a lot more fun. We're going to have more deck profiles for you guys and stuff like that. Also, if I get to 500 subs, I'm going to do something great for you guys. I'm going to probably do a giveaway of like Dragon Shield sleeves, stuff like that, and possibly even one of my mats. I have a bunch of cloth mats, and I'm getting to the point where I need to probably either sell them or get rid of some of them. I have like a whole stack. I'm like this much of them just sitting in my closet. So, yeah, I'm going to do that for you guys when I get to 500 subs. And on top of that, I'm going to try to start getting on to the social media stuff a lot better. I kind of took a good year, like, it's like 3 or 4 year break from social medias and stuff like that. So you can follow me on Instagram at YoNoShot. I'll put it down in the description and stuff like that. And I'm going to have some other videos coming out, possibly this week, talking about the most boring decks to play, the most boring decks to play against. And I'm pretty sure some of us are going to be on the same wavelength, maybe different. I would like to know what you guys think, but that's in a different video. So anyways, again, I had a great time at Nats, and I can't wait to go to the next one. Got a whole another year. One thing I did like about this Nats, even though I was tired and I couldn't make it to day 2, when I got home and when I got back to the hotel room and I ate some food and I was laying there in bed, I was just like, I want to try a lot harder next year. I don't know what it was, but it lit a fire back in me. It reminded me of when I was a teenager and I went to my first regionals. I didn't do good at all. You know what I'm saying? I went there and I got my ass just handed to me. Like the first 4 hours, I was just getting beat. But it lit a fire in me, and I was like, I want to get better. And I think the same thing happened that night at the hotel room. I was laying there and I was like, I want to get more serious with this game again. I don't know. It was cool. It was a great moment. And so yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. All right, peace.